Dear colleagues, good afternoon. We continue our working day. I am Valentin Pugachev. I'm responsible for the project spokesperson of Peaceful Life, and today we're discussing renovation of infrastructure in the Donetsk region, and our interlocutor is Mr. Pavlo Zhebrivskyi, chairman of the Donetsk Regional Military and Civil Administration via Skype. The first question, could you please mention the amount of figures which were allocated and invested to the reconstruction of infrastructure in the Donetsk region? How much of them were allocated by the state, and how much by the oblast? Almost 2 billion. This were money from UNDP, from Japan, which was spent for water supply infrastructures and repairs of hydro engineering constructions. Then also we used the funds of the State Regional Development Fund. This money were used to restore 3 bridges which were destroyed by the militants. These bridges were of systemic nature because they connected strategic destinations, and the range of coverage was almost 63 kilometers. Then partially state budget and partially regional money were used for renovation of the water supply pipelines in Konstantinivka. Then local, regional money, public money were used for procurement of ambulance cars, which was very important because in the all the regional ambulance cars remained in Donetsk, while we opened some medical facilities, Medicare facilities in Kramatorsk. These are Medicare facilities of the so-called third level. They required ambulance cars. Then we finalized the construction of a very important school, which is called the Emerald City, and we renovated several kindergartens. I think that the renovated facilities are maybe the best one in Ukraine. Then, jointly with business, we managed to open the Center for Administrative Services in Mariupol. Unfortunately, we had to restore the damage caused by shellings, and in order to do this we spent a lot of money. Then jointly with the state authorities we rebuilt some houses. Then jointly with the Red Cross we tried to reconstruct and restore the water supply system, and we failed to do this, unfortunately. Then in Marienka, Krasnogorivka, Avdiivka, there were a lot of damage due to ruinations due to shellings, which we had to restore from our local budget. So we used 80 million hryvnia from road construction from the state budget and more than 100 million hryvnia from regional budget for the same purposes. Then Medicare was an important item of our expenses. The last year, Verkhovna Rada made a decision that those money which were accumulated on the accounts of Donetsk, Snizhne, Terez, etc., were given to the Donetsk state administration. Unfortunately, that money arrived rather late in the year, only in late July. In August, we had approved the budget in line with legislation. And only in September we started a tender procedure to use this money for different purposes. 2.4 billion hryvnia had to be spent on infrastructure repairs, but unfortunately only 173 million of them were used for infrastructure repairs. Also, we have started 332 projects in line with the approved budget estimates. Some people used to say that we use money improperly. To those saying like this, I suggest to take such project management. The law provides for special time frames. 2 months should be spent for contest of the projects, then verification of the design documentation, then all the tender procedures, etc. This takes, in line with legislation, a lot of time. So we have launched all those processes, and we expect to finalize that cumbersome process by spring, and I expect that we will have all those money, that is 2.5 billion hryvnia, for good projects. Also, our main objective is not just to use money. Our objective is to spend them efficiently on housing, on education, on Medicare, which are the most painful points in the life of people in Donetsk Oblast. Unfortunately, we experience major difficulties with roads and the repairs of roads. While in Ukravtodor in the past they had bigger amounts of money for these purposes, while now we have smaller funds, and roads experience bigger load and should be repaired more often. Thank you, Mr. Жебрівський. Next question. Recently, in one of the interviews, you mentioned to revive the Donbass infrastructure more than $30 billion dollars will be needed. Did you mean just governmentally controlled territories, or the non-controlled territories too? I mentioned not repairs, I meant new constructions, because what we rebuild today on the controlled territories, I see that the road infrastructure is extremely in poor condition. the roads should not be just repaired. Repair would not help. We need to construct them from scratch, actually. Then another big problem is for example, strengthening energy efficiency. There are huge losses of water in our water supply infrastructure. Up to 30 or 50% of water could be lost. The same is true about heating supply system, about other important infrastructures, about schools. The same is true. So that figure was intended for all that means. Whether it could be done quickly? No, it could not be done quickly. The Donetsk region has now big problem that all the design institutions which worked for all those design purposes and were able to produce both design documentation and budget and estimates, they remained in Donetsk. Today we have to order this documentation in Kiev, Kharkiv, Zaporizhzhia, Dnipro, etc. Which means that quite often engineers do the design without attending the site, and we have to make corrections on site. Then let us look, for example, on Mariupol. They have some construction companies, but they are not numerous. Since they were needed, they worked mainly for Met Invest. Then there was another big construction company by Alexander Taruta, but he relocated all the heavy machinery because there were not enough work, and rented it and offered it for lease in Kiev. And now it is rather difficult to attract all those construction companies back to the Donetsk region, to bring them here, to mobilize resources. The next big problem is to convince those companies which supply construction materials to establish their warehouses in Donetsk Oblast, just to have all those construction materials handy. Without all those things, without systemic investments, without predictability of the state order for this renovation, reconstruction of infrastructure won't be possible. As far as I understand about water supplies in Mariupol, water supply to Mariupol is ensured via Donetsk, and this makes it dependent on the goodwill of the opponents, whether it is to resolve this problem. There are two projects. The first is a project via Zaporizhzhia, Berdansk, and Mariupol to bring water from the Dnipro River to Mariupol. This will be almost 600 million euros. The second project is to produce potable water from salt water of the sea in Mariupol. This project could be a bit cheaper, up to $200 million. Usually potable water from seawater is produced only in those countries which are very rich, and we do not understand fully whether this is environment, whether this is beneficial. The next issue is that in case of emergency, we will have in Mariupol enough water just for 6 hours. Then the Siversky Donetsk canal and we need to, if we supply water through Siversky Donetsk, we need to install new pumps, and this will make water on this territory around this canal much more expensive. So now we are thinking about all those projects and trying to do SWOT analysis for each of them. Now it's time for questions, please. You're welcome.
Sergey Malerchuk, UCMC. Please tell us, in your opinion, who is the main opponent of the economic development of the region? So there is no such enemy. The key problem is that investment don't come here, because when ministers come on the 1st of February, we will have the Minister of Trade from France, and there will be some people from Hungary came here also, and they said that they want to return to the issue of investment in the region, and the business that is now working, that is ecologically friendly, that pays the workers, that they can provide. And we form new class of Ukrainian Donetsk Kurkuls, so small business, I mean. And we would like to allocate 150 million hryvnias for this program. People will come and share their experience, and then they will form business plan, and we will allocate grants, 200 or 220,000 hryvnias to form small business, and only 7% of the product in this region is provided by small enterprises. So great monopolies exist here. So we need more small business here, and we started to form 4 industrial parks in Liman, Konstantinovka, Mariupol, Kramatorsk, and these are industrial parks, and in a year or year and a half we will complete this work, and we believe that during this time the war will end, and we will demonopolize the economy of Donetsk area. Next question, Yemets Maria, UCMC. Tell us, please, the number of schools that were repaired, those schools that suffered in course of shellings, and what about base schools that had to be built? According to the project, 21 base schools and hub school in Kramatorsk based on Ukrainian gymnasium, and also we prepared documents to create 10 base schools, and in each region, in each town, there is such a base school. It should be there. We have prospects to have it in any community, and now 14 schools started its work. In 5 schools, we signed agreements, and you know that on the 25th of February, starting from March, we will finance them, and 3 more schools through Prozoro system, and starting 1st March 25 plus hub school in Kramatorsk, they will be in operation. So I think that in Volosivsk, Slavyansk region, in starting March, the school will operate, and also in April there will be 3 schools fully repaired and will be in operation. And till 1st of September, this hub school and other schools will start their full-scale work. About gray zone schools, so we helped in Mariinsky schools and other schools, but practically in Mariinka school, for example, they repaired the windows, but there was shelling and they were damaged. So also in Krasnogorovka there is a threat that we will invest and this school can be damaged. So you know that unfortunately Krasnogorovka continued to go under shelling. So the key issue, equipment to the schools, and also that the Ukrainian language should be exclusive language of teaching them. And if you don't have other questions, thank you, Pavel. Thank you for being with us. This is our first Skype connection, and I hope that we will meet next time. Good luck. Dear colleagues, I remind you that the next Spokesman of Peaceful Life program will be next week at the same time.